Welcome to the Dungeon Coach live stream. Whether you're watching this live right now or sometime in the future, I got you covered. I want to help you guys with your Dungeons and Dragons questions. All the timestamps will be linked down below. And I also, if you want next level help, I also have some stuff that I offer my patrons each and every month, because I want to say thank you for you supporting what I do here and helping me chase after this dream of mine of doing content creation full time. So these PDFs have DM resources, homebrew options to customize and tweak your game. Every single month I have magic items, traps, puzzles, riddles, character bonus perks to customize a wide variety of different characters. It's got entire rule systems like enchanting and lycanthropy and how to run those different types of things, and a ton of other stuff to input into your world, into your cities, into your rule systems, and just spark up that creativity each and every month. And for all of you that are watching this video in the future, or you're coming back to it at a later time and you had to leave during the live stream, I'm gonna have all the timestamps down below and in the chapters here at the bottom of the screen that you can click around and see which question I answered and jump around and find out what's most interesting to you. So on with the live stream.
Oh, what's up, people? Oh, secret, top secret. Oh, don't look at that. Don't look at that. What's that? What? Hey, guys. How's it going? We have a special guest on the live stream for tonight. So pay no attention to this little square that was right here. What's up, people? What's up, people? That is right. Tonight, I am bringing on the first live stream guest that I've ever brought on before. One of my players, but I'll get to that here in a second. What's up, people? You're on the wrong mic. Oh, yes, this is a new mic. That is a good catch there. This is like a really good streaming mic now, so we're 100% official there. So the other mic is behind me. So no, it is not red, but I do have a purple of these things coming in, because you know I got to. What's up, people? Mark's here, Ludger's here, Steve Newton, Robert Scatterbug, Reno, Irvin, Evan, Chimera. Wow, we got a whole everyone's here. Let's go. Blue Comet, what's up? What's up, Blue Comet? Oh, what's up? Joey Gray, Magnus, let's go. Eric, David's here. Okay, so how this works, if you guys don't know already. Also, just real quick, we had a super chat already, and the stream hadn't even started yet. I was resetting some things, and I got an alert. And I was like, wait, what? The stream hasn't even started yet. So KD&D with a $10 super chat out the gate. I appreciate that. They said, and that's why KD&D right here is the boss, because how this works on the live stream, we're doing a Q&A live stream. I'm going to bring on the guest here in just a second, but how this works is if you have a question, which don't ask them yet, because you're probably going to want to have some context to this question, because all these questions are going to be fielded by me and my friend both together. You can ask one of us, you can ask both of us, and if you don't specify, I'm going to assume it's both of us. So yeah, and either way, regardless, we're probably going to interject off of each other with whatever questions that we field from you guys. But if you do want to have a question, you're going to ask it first come, first serve to the questions. And super chats jump to the front of the line as KD&D just demonstrated. But KD&D said, running my Spelljammer game, so I can't hang at the stream. But what are your favorite monsters from the new Spelljammer set besides the dragon? So we're going to get to that question once I bring on my friend here. But KD&D just got first dibs on that question. And if we hit the stream goal, I do giveaways and stuff. And we're going to give away stuff on my website or physical D&D books and all that kind of stuff. So let's go ahead and get into it and bring on the first guest to the D&D live stream. I'm going to turn on his camera here in a second, but I got to give him a hype roll set up here. His name's Jason. He is my best friend. He was the best man at my wedding. We have played D&D together from the jump. As soon as we started, we're like, should we play D&D? Like, we're both nerds and played World of Warcraft for like years, but like D&D level nerds? I don't know about that. And then we loved it and have done nothing since that. He was Sidian the Geomancer, homebrew subclass that me and him worked out together, in my first campaign, who turned villain, then created Twitch, the Chronomancer Wizard, another homebrew subclass. If you don't understand, we both homebrew everything. And then in the new campaign on DC Plays, he is Darius, which sounds like I'm announcing like a celebrity or something, but he is a celebrity. What's up, dude? You can unmute yourself now after all
everybody.
The hype. Yeah, see, what's up, y'all?
It is I.
Tis I. Duh. Did I do good on the hype setup, dude?
Yeah, it was good. It was
All right,
good. I
cool, cool, cool,
appreciated
cool,
it.
cool. I didn't have any notes, so I was just like, I had to make up stuff about
Like,
how
here's
you were
all of his
cool.
alternate personalities.
All the alternate personalities he's played
Yeah.
on the screen. So, how this works, ask your questions, hashtag question, and my moderators will pick them up and grab them and we'll go with them. So, you can ask questions about our campaigns. Now, careful. I'm going to give a disclaimer. He is a player of mine, so don't try and roast me or try and to get some secret nuggets from him. Okay?
Don't listen to him.
Don't.
Roast away.
I'm gonna mute him. Can I mute you? How do I mute you? I'll just hang up the Discord call. That's what I'll do.
That's fair.
If things get too out of hand, I'll throw out. But yeah, a player of mine is here, and yeah, if y'all want to ask like player to DM questions of how we've handled stuff before, lots of different stuff, or just general D&D questions like this first one. We're gonna get into this first one right here. I don't know, Jason, if you've even seen, but the question is, what are your favorite monsters from the new Spelljammer set?
Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna pass that one off to you. I don't have it, so I don't know yet.
The sad part is, he says besides the dragons, because the solar dragon is super cool.
Yeah. Well, the issue is in my campaign, I full homebrew my campaigns as well.
Right.
So
Yeah. Also, full disclaimer here: you're dealing with two full homebrew DMs. When he DMs, he's all homebrew. Same thing here. So
a lot of my inspiration is drawn from video games, all that type of stuff. So I don't really look at Monster Manual to create my stuff, unfortunately, for that question, at least.
Yeah, that's a lot of times. Anytime that someone asks a question about like a module or something like that, I'm like, I'm not the person to ask, because even like I have the monster manual behind me. I've opened it up and I just looked through the pictures. That's all I did.
Oh, I mean, yeah, I have all the Kobold Press stuff, right?
Oh yeah,
And
yeah.
I like just looking through it, but yeah, I don't have the Spelljammer one yet.
Yep. So there is a really cool solar dragon in there though, and its lair is like the sun, and it has like crazy damage that you take at the top of every round or something absolutely crazy. Oh wait, your audio and Jason's audio needs increased. Ooh, okay. DC Artificer coming in here with some audio adjustments. My audio is maxed out.
Just crank me up in Discord.
So I'm gonna do this for myself, and hopefully that helps. And then in Discord, I'll crank
my
you
mic
up.
doesn't move. Oh,
How do I crank you up? I'll use your volume.
there we go. Maybe.
Hello? There we go.
Hello?
I cranked you up.
I've extended my microphone. I don't know if that's going to help or not.
Okay. Easy. Get that deep voice going, so hold up. All right. Here we go. Here's some first of our questions here. Let's go. We got Steve Newton with a question. What advice would you give to someone who's looking to get started on YouTube? I think I got cut off the last time I typed it. Jason, I'm going to throw this one to you.
Oh, so you probably need to start with a really cool channel name. And
what would hold on. What would be a cool channel name? Just, off the top of your head.
Just spitballing like Dungeon Coach. Just go
Hey, well, copyright. Hold up, time out.
You just take some like game term and like turn it on its head.
Yeah. So Steve Newton, I'm gonna hit this one for you real quick. But since the theme of this is with my co-star here, I'm gonna be quick with it. But what advice would someone get started on YouTube? Is start right now. Like start before you actually know what you're doing. You're gonna make terrible videos, but you're gonna make the first ones are always gonna be terrible no matter what. So might as well get them out of the way now. But start is my absolute big first advice because I took too long prepping. But there you go. Josh Zeller's next question: how much influence did the players / Jason have on Alkenner's Almanac of All Things? Did they know about Alkenner's Almanac of All Things? I don't know if you know the answer to this, dude.
I mean, I have a degree of knowledge. I designed a good portion of the subclasses that are in the book.
Oh, okay, yeah. So, a lot of in Alkenner's Almanac of All Things, it's mainly focused on like the rules of the game, right?
Like a side module.
Yeah. So on top of that, there was a monster booster pack, a subclass booster pack, and a magic item booster pack. And Jason, along with my team and everything, he basically joined my writing team for Alkenner's Almanac to make a whole bunch of the subclasses in there. So Jason knew about that and stuff. But as far as the actual book of Alkenner's Almanac, I don't know if you know this, so tell me if you've seen this or where your thoughts are from the player side of things, because I know you know what I'm talking about when it comes to the mass combat, because that was for sure, and the travel. But basically, my group have been my guinea pigs of everything always. So everything that we've ever done, however bad or good. Do you remember the first hex crawl travel we did with the little maps?
Awful. Terrible.
Yeah, that didn't make it into Allocator's Almanac.
Yeah, most of our sessions would end with me critiquing the new system and then just making adjustments. And he's like, let me go write that down.
Oh yeah. Literally, and like that's why it was so awesome to not to get sappy, but to have you as like two bros just learning D&D and me as a dungeon master with a best friend at the table that I could be like, hey, was that good? And you'd be like, no, dude, that sucked. Or be like, dude, that was freaking awesome. Or, and either way, if it was good or bad, just brainstorm mashing our brains together of like, all right, so what if we did this or that? Oh, it feels bad if that would be a roll. So let's just have that happen, and then this will be, So my groups were always my guinea pigs with every random homebrew rule that I threw out there, and a lot of those good ones made it into Allocator's Almanac. But do you remember the mass combat playtest?
Yeah, it wasn't great.
So the first iterations of mass combat was like, all right, so what if we do this and this and this? And then we're like, okay, this is too complicated. And how does magic work?
30 minutes of you explaining the rules to us. And I was like, can we just play D&D, man?
Yeah. Well, and that's kind of honestly, and that's the part I do feel bad about as like from a content creator perspective and like writing a book perspective and all these things that most dungeon masters don't have to deal with is I'm like, I want to play test these rules. So hey guys, a lot of it was
I understood the purpose. So
yeah. So I feel bad sometimes, and I do give disclaimers to my group about like, okay, so I'm trying this thing out, and let me know, because then we had like 3 sessions in a row of travel.
Yeah, oh god, so much. Well, here's something y'all probably don't know about Coach. He likes to handwrite everything, and I've tried to convince him away from that. But during a lot of these little modules he'll put together or like play tested things, he'll hand us little index cards with his awful handwriting in pencil and like erase scratch marks on it, and I'm like, I have no idea what half the card says. So like halfway through combat, I'm like, yo, what does that say?
Yeah.
And they're all like.
Yeah.
He refuses to like print and type stuff.
I really should. And like I hate printers, so like I should in my head just now as you're roasting me on this, I love it. I was like, oh, you know what? I could like print it out, but I was like, printers. We always have printers with technical difficulties, and it's just really annoying. So I'm just gonna write it out. But then I have terrible handwriting, and like my Dungeon Master notes are always bad. Like here's a writing sample. Wild magic, and it's just not the best. It's just not the best handwriting. I love paper, like playing on paper. But I threw a bunch of different travel rules, and while I was writing chapter 5, I believe it is in Allocator's Almanac, travel, it was a lot of like, okay, like I gotta play test this out. So we're gonna travel, and it so happened to match up to where we were going from point A to B, and it was a long way away. So yeah, I try to make it spicy, but it's a little too much travel in one spot. Okay, so next question. Will Figura has a $10 super chat. Thanks, Will Figura. Question: what is the longest range you have had combat at? I got myself a Nightmare mount and 1,200 foot Eldritch Blast range. Can't wait for an encounter to showcase my range on my Cyclops-inspired PC. Oh, gosh.
That would have worked on the mass combat we used, because it was like,
Ooh.
the battlefield was what, like a mile?
I didn't even think about that. Yeah, so with the mass combat thing, we the map was not to scale of like 5-foot grab. So that would have been really interesting. And
any standard battle map's obviously not going to work for that.
Because
that would all be theater of the mind.
Yeah. No standard battle map. Very true.
No.
Like I would say,
how many squares? That's a lot of squares.
If you take my biggest map back there, I think it's like 140 or something like that, 160 maybe. So like pretty much in my mind, 120 feet is the map. Like I always just think 120 feet's the map, pretty much, unless it's like corner to corner or something. The longest combat, I don't know. Now, I've never had any of my players get a feat like this or like build like this where they create some sort of sniper class. So if they did that, then yes, I would put challenges in front of them to showcase that, but no one's ever done that. So yeah, the mass combat was a good point though. Yeah. But you've built a sniper there, Wilfredo.
Yeah, for sure.
That is nuts.
Crazy.
I didn't know you could even break 1,000 feet. That's crazy. I hope your dungeon master sets you up to showcase that. That's freaking awesome. So next question. A new name question. I love building custom baddies from your dynamic creature builder baddie system. I am still struggling to balance them for my party of 3. Any tips? Most systems work of 4-player party. So the question is customizing and balancing really for a party of 3. You are running a party of 3 right now.
I am running a party of 3, and I agree, it is hard to balance for. I've gone out of the way to make my my characters overly powerful for their level. So
that's a good point.
Instead of balancing the monsters, I kind of make them where I want them, and then I make my players stronger. They're only level 4 right now, and they have a bunch of magic items already. Every time they get an ASI, I give them a feat as well. I gave them all a free feat at level 1.
Oh, I remember you telling me that. Yeah.
I gave them all max health on level up. I had this dumb system that it might be dumb, I don't know. But I gave them, because there's only 3 of them, action economy gets a little funky. So I basically gave them all the option to take an action surge whenever they want, but by doing it, they get a stack of exhaustion. So there's a give and take there where it's like, I really need this extra action, but I get a stack of exhaustion for it.
Now,
I've also played with the idea of maybe they get an action surge each, but only once per combat.
Okay.
It hasn't come up yet, but it is on the table for them to use.
My question was going to be, is there a limit, or could they just keep using it and keep getting stacks of exhaustion?
Well, so I'm using your actual exhaustion system where it's like every one is a minus to their roll.
Mm-hmm.
So they can't just keep using it because it will stack up and then, they'll be pretty much useless.
Right.
Because I tend to run my combats a little difficult heavy.
For sure.
But
same.
And I kind of balance on the fly. As you kind of have to do with homebrew campaigns.
Yeah. Well, I mean, honestly, that's absolutely great advice, because coming from someone who does this, because and I've always, even in the same way, like I give bonus level up perks to you guys, or cool little features here and there, or little combo moves, or whatever it is. So I like to have strong players because I like to have hard combats. So the way you put it though was great, of like, just buff your players. if you're trying to balance it, buff your players so you have some more wiggle room, so it's not such a fine line you're playing. Because if you think about like the example of like a bunch of first level characters, you would have to put some thought into being careful not to TPK them. Like everything, it's like but if you buff them up to exaggerate level 20, it's gonna be a lot harder to kill them, so you have a lot more room to go crazy with it, because they're crazy. So yeah.
It's much more consistent, because you could bring numbers down on a monster a little bit and the dice still swing in their favor. Another big thing is healing in 3-person parties feels really bad because it uses an action, unless you're using holy word, obviously, or healing word. But if you can find a way to give them something that allows them to heal while still doing what they want to do, it goes a long way, because then they don't lose any actions trying to feel like they need to heal or pick someone up or whatever. Like I gave my paladin an upgraded sword where whenever she divine smites, she can lay on hands somebody within 30 feet as a free action.
Ooh, there you go.
That goes a long way just to like help with the healing situation. If someone's down 30 feet away, she doesn't have to leave and go run over there. And yeah.
Now, people's knee-jerk reaction is like, "Oh, that's so broken. That's overpowered. That's crazy." And like,
I don't care.
If I gave that to my group that I'm playing, like that you guys are playing in right now, that's a lot. Like, oh wow, that's great. But like, know your group. Healing's a problem. Give them tools so that they don't have to always worry about healing, and it eats up all their action economy and all that kind of stuff. So no, that's great. And a quick question: did you? Are any of your players fighters? I don't think so, right?
No. I've got an artificer, blade singer. The artificer is one of my homebrew.
And a paladin.
subclasses, and then Vengeance Paladin.
Yeah. Okay. Because people are always like, well, if there's a fighter and they have action surge, then what are you? Yeah, but again,
No
perfect
fighter.
example. No fighters in the group, so give everyone an action surge. No
Well,
one's
even if there was a fighter, they could action surge and then action surge again if they
for
wanted
free.
to for another.
Their action surge would not cost them. Yeah.
Right. It's not like they don't get that option because they have action surge. Just don't call it action surge. Call it
adrenaline rush.
I don't know. I'm on the spot. I can't think.
Oh, nice. Oh yeah, a new name says a max potion action rule. Yeah, you can do buff your players.
Just make your players stronger. It's the easiest way to do it.
Done. Oh God, I hate this next question. I hate it because I know what your answer is going to be. So I want you to mainly for this one think back to the first campaign more so than this one. But the question is Jason only favorite and least favorite character voice that Coach has done at the table?
Oh no, favorite character voice. I always get a kick out of his Russian accent. He hasn't done it so much in this campaign, but in the first campaign, it felt like every third character was Russian. I don't know if he was practicing it, but it came up a lot.
Well, what's funny to behind the scenes on that one, I'm messing with your camera here so that we're good.
Am I off?
No, you're good. You're right there. Just chill. You're good. Yeah. Relax, bro. I always practice what I preach, y'all, is I always try and work on something as a dungeon master. So I always have like a goal of something I suck at, and then I really focus on it and try and do better at it. And when I started the campaign, the accents and voices was like a big thing for me. So in the first campaign, I wanted to make sure every region had a different voice type, and one of the Russian people were the ones from the Seventh Templar, which was this like faction in the game that was like basically like. Yeah, there was like this main faction of the game that they were like a part of, and they were like doing quests for. So they kept meeting up with people from this, and I purposely gave them a Russian accent, and then they met somebody else that had a Russian accent, and it's like, wait, is that person part? So it became like a whole theme. So the Russian accent was probably overused.
Favorite voice? I don't remember his name, and I don't know why I remember this, but there was a halfling that had like an inn in like a fallen log. Or like a trunk
yeah.
He had the most nails on chalkboard grating voice ever, and I wanted to just do nothing but leave that in.
I think he had a little bit of a Boston accent. I think he talked like this.
It was terrible. We left.
I don't know.
We purposely did not stay in that inn just because of
Welcome to my treehouse.
I think that was it. It was awful. It was so bad. I remember it. 4 or 5 years later.
I'm just grunting constantly. Oh, that's funny. I'm gonna see, and what's funny is I think it was like 3-4 sessions ago. I told my group, I'm like, guys, I'm gonna work on more character voices. I'm gonna bring it because I'm circling back around to it because I feel like a lot of my voices started to get too similar and too the same. So I was like, and I think it's because of the theme of the campaign. We're running a very human-y campaign, so there's a bunch of humans. So I'm like, I feel like everything's normal. So yeah, I think that's what kind of lulled me into a false sense of normal. Oh, see, they love that accent. Look, see? Oh no, I think they were talking about, I think, the max potion rule maybe, or your previous question. So I'll act like they were saying
they're wrong if they like that accent.
They're wrong. Careful. Don't let chat turn against you.
No, it's okay.
Okay, so wait, close it. Okay.
Devil's advocate.
Oh no, I closed out chat. Oh, there we go. Okay. Next question. We got Evan Bosco. Question. What is the biggest disagreement you two have had? Oh, I can't wait to see what you say on this one. Rules debate.
Quite a few.
Yeah. Wait. Rules debate.
Oh, I know what it is. 100% I know what it is. Go ahead. You can go first.
Rules debate, play style, DMing style, differences, or simple difference of opinion on a topic. So
actually, I want to go because it annoys me still. Nat 1 on saving throws is an auto fail. And I highly disagree with that.
Oh, no.
But he runs it that way, and I hate it. There was one fight. We determined the DC of the spell that it was against. It was a petrification from a Gorgon. Mm-hmm. And we knew what the DC was. And I had a very high saving throw against it. And I knew, hey, if I go stand next to my paladin, I will easily beat this regardless of what I roll. And it had never come up yet in the campaign that a Nat 1 was an auto fail. So I go over to the I go over next to the paladin, I cast a spell, and I say I'm looking at the Gorgon, and he's like, okay, make a saving throw. I'm like, it doesn't matter because I auto succeed. Like with my saving throw plus the paladin, it was like a 17 or something. And I was like, okay, well, it's nat 1. He goes, oh, it's a nat 1? Well, you fail and you start becoming petrified. I was pissed. We got into not like not like a heated argument, but like there was a severe disagreement like after the session with that.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Yep.
I went out of my way to make sure I couldn't fail it. And then we're like, oh, by the way, nat 1 saving throws are auto fail. I'm like, all right.
Okay, couple things here. So I'm gonna just fill in some gaps that Jason left out here. Okay, just from the one, and ultimately, first of all, I think the lesson learned here is to be clear about that, because I don't think it would have been as hard of a pill to swallow if you had known that,
Right.
Just in general.
There's always a 5% chance.
Yeah, just from the jump.
Yeah.
If you just had known that. So that's honestly.
And I understood it for skill checks. I didn't realize it applied.
Yeah, and so like that's a clear like a miscommunication ultimately on my part, where I was just like, all right, nat 1's fail, and like, okay, it's good, like wherever the miscommunication was, whatever. But I think it's make sure to be clear whenever you have a homebrew rule that's not technically rules as written, even though Wizards of the Coast is coming around with it. They see it, they see the light like I do. So technically, I think ultimately, just to throw this extra point in there, ultimately you're just wrong. I feel like Wizards of the Coast has decided that you're wrong. So, and so is everyone else that thinks you shouldn't fail on natural 1. Jenny D had a TikTok where I saw, and she's like, I don't know if I like that. I was like, oh no. So yeah, there's
all right, Jenny D's my people then.
Oh no, we're gonna lose some people over to her. Yeah, she's freaking Titan anyway. No, bad. Nat 1s aren't auto fails. Wait. I can't tell if Evan wants nat 1s to be auto fails or not. But anyway, natural 1s for sure is a auto fail in my opinion. But anyway, to continue to fill in some of the gaps here. He also very, very role play. So props to the role play side of things. But he very much role played and said, "I look her dead in the eyes," and you really amped up.
Oh, I did.
How much you were like, "I look her dead in the eyes," and like, oh, I was like,
I thought it was 100%
oh
safe.
wow, okay, jerk. Here it comes. And then it was so hilarious to me that after that little oh, look her dead in the eyes, and then natural 1, and I was like, oh wow, here we go. It just became a thing. So here's my, and now we could go into this because I don't want to get into a full on debate about it, because then the whole thing would just derail. But my thought, and what I explained in the moment, I think even, is I don't care. Like if Twitch, his character's name was Twitch. He was a chronomancy wizard type situation. If Twitch had some sort of mechanic or some sort of feat or some sort of magic item or backstory, some explanation as to why he was immune, then that would have felt better. Now, I don't know if the Paladin aura was what took you over the edge.
Yeah.
Okay.
I ran up to the Paladin.
Yeah, to get the aura. Yeah. But so I feel like nothing makes you, unless getting immunity from something, I feel like is just perfection in general, in the world in general, in the game. Perfection is just a little crazy to me. So I feel like there's never a scenario where Twitch would become immune to petrification. And so a natural 1 to me represents like the worst thing happening, and that would be the worst thing happening. So I was automatically went for it. I didn't even know that you were going to be upset about it. And then I was like, oh, is this a thing? And we had like one of those moments at the table where I'm like, no, like, oh, this is it.
I was mostly upset because I went out of the way to make sure that I was immune to it.
Right, and I think that circles back around to the very first thing about like you should have known, and you would have done things differently if you had known. And that
because I'm always in my head. I'm like, what's the odds of me failing this? I'm like, nah, I'm not gonna go for it.
Yeah.
And a 5% chance of getting petrified, not worth it.
Yep. I think the only other things I think have been disagreements. And I think you even had a moment last session where you said you had like a just an overwiping comment about like something I could see into your head on, of like sometimes I make a lot of my combats are like busted as hell. Like they're just super broken. And
Oh,
it's
the
like,
action economy comment. I
whoa,
wasn't pissed. I was just
yeah,
I was just making it well aware that I was aware of how bad the action economy was at that moment.
yeah.
It wasn't so much like a complaint. I was just like, wow, this is really bad.
Oh,
This needs to be fixed.
I know. My version is there was one time where I threw you guys into the Cullen of Witches.
No. No.
So y'all had just
Worst
leveled
fight
up.
of any campaign.
Worst fight? Is that my worst fight?
Yep, that was your worst fight.
What's so funny is I think that was one of Jeff's favorites.
I don't care.
Oh, so basically the fight was there was a Cullen of Witches where they had walked into and were led into a trap, and every witch had this like polymorph situation, and they would polymorph the players into animals, and at the top of every round, or no, they as like a apex action top of the round thing, they polymorphed everyone into a creature. The DC was stupid high to where you almost couldn't.
No way of making. We were like level 5. There was no way.
Yeah. They were level 5 and then DC was 20, so it was possible, but like probably
mind you,
not.
we had just hit level 5 too, so this was our first fight as level 5.
That was the thing I would probably go back and check. That was the note I took away, is that they just hit level 5 and they got all these cool new toys and all these cool new features, and then I turned
every single round.
You're a sheep.
At the top of the round, we get polymorphed into a random animal,
a bird,
and we get to. And he hands us a shittily drawn or shittily written index card of that animal's abilities, and he's like, "Here, this is your character now." And I'm like, "Why, Alan? I don't want to be a hawk." Like, in every round, I was like, "Can I slam myself into the ground to get out of this?"
Didn't you fly up into the air and just try and bash yourself?
I dive bombed into the ground to see if the damage would knock me out, so I could use my sorcerer abilities. I was so annoyed. It was like 6 rounds of not being able to use my character for everybody.
Oh man.
Awful. I hated that fight. That was easily the worst fight. And probably will be forever.
So many cool mechanics, so many cool opportunities to be animals.
No.
But no, I wanted my level 5.
The animals didn't even do cool stuff. It was like, oh, the hawk can claw. Oh, great.
It had like a swoop or like a fly. I don't know. It was yeah, it was. I learned some things about the player agency and like taking away what they can do. Like is a big thing. It just feels bad in general. So and see now here's in the chat. Blue comment says sounds incredible. I'm totally doing this to my players. Thank you. They'll be annoyed, but also love it. So there you go.
Your casters are gonna hate it.
Maybe if I did it again, I would have some sort of like flavor tweak that you could do in that form. So there would be a hawk, a sheep, whatever forms, and then like while in that form, you can do extra cool stuff based on you being you. But that would be a lot of work and all that. That would be a lot of work.
Oh yeah, yeah. One of the forms was a sheep that could walk 20 feet and bite for 1 damage.
That was the worst.
Let that sink in. All right, next question.
Let that sink in. All right, next question. Will Fagora with another $10 super chat. Thank you, Wilfredo. Wilfredo. There you go. Wilfredo Fagora. A sorcerer warlock with instant dispel magic, spell sniper feat, and Eldritch Spear invocation is how you get an Eldritch Blast of 1,200 feet. What bonus level up perk would you give a Cyclops inspired NPC? Ooh, okay, so Sorcerer, Warlock, Distant Spell Meta Magic, Spell Sniper Feat, and Eldritch Spear Invocation. Oh, what bonus level up perk? Oh, man. I would probably do something...
The ability to see that far.
Honestly, we are so synced up, because
I
went one step
like
farther.
Eagle vision.
I went one step farther, because we're so synced up. I was like, man, how can you even see that far? That's the feat I would they'd be able to see.
Whatever the bear, or the eagle barbarian has a feat like that at 6, I think.
Oh yeah. There you go. Inspiration from other stuff. I love it. So yes on that, and then I took it one step farther than that. Is giving them some sort of clairvoyance, or isn't that the spell? What's it called? Is it called scrying? I would give them some sort of scrying ability. And how crazy would that be if they could scry
through like a CTC camera?
Yeah, like they could scry and then try and hit a shot through scrying. Like, wouldn't that be crazy? So yeah, that's or you could even do like homing things to where they could like move in some sort of ways. That'd be crazy. A lot of that stuff's kind of broken, but I think it would be really cool.
It doesn't come up a whole lot in like standard combat. That's going to be
right. It's going to be more so like almost exploration, role play type puzzle solving stuff of like, how can we get into this? Well, I'm going to take the guard out from freaking over. I'm going to scry there and then
from this mountain over here.
Or to take it in a different way, Wilfredo, I would see if anyone else in the group could be like a spotter, you know, like in shooting or sniping or whatever. There's like the sniper and they have a spotter where it like calls to targets and like looks and stuff for them and gives them information. So what if there was another player at the table that was maybe like, let's just say they're a divination wizard or something, and they could do that scrying and like see through their eyes and like team up together, and the combo of them together could like hit some crazy long shots with like a tag team situation.
Arcane Eye.
There's actually a really cool like media portrayal of that. I don't know if anyone's watched the Dragon's Blood, Dota Dragon's Blood anime on Netflix, but Mirana, she's like this arcane archer of the moon. She has a spotter named Marcy, and she whistles, and Mirana doesn't even have to look where she's firing, and she just follows the whistles and like lands air. It's really cool. There's some scenes. Look it up. It's like just Dota 2 Dragon's Blood, Marcy, Mirana.
Yeah.
Fighting or what, I don't know. You could probably find clips of it. It's really cool. Like she closes her eyes and she just like follows the whistles, and Marcy's essentially like her spotter.
Yeah.
That's cool. It's really cool the way they do it.
Well, boom, there you go. You got an example and a literal anime example. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Next question. Okay. Question to Jason. Question from Josh Zellers. Question to Jason. What is your process with character creation? Do you go with the class first or vibes first? Hold up. I was going to try and answer the question for you and see if I knew, and I knew it was going to be class first, but continue.
Yeah, because I'm kind of in the point. So my issue is I have all these cool like martial character concepts in my head. Like I want to make like a Spartan, like a spear and shield Spartan, as you know, Alan. I sent you ideas on it. Like I think that'd be awesome to put like Pantheon from League of Legends or whatever, and just have all kind of action economy and just be armorless. It'd require like multi-classing barbarian with like battle master. So I have all these cool like martial concepts, but I absolutely hate playing martials. I don't want to do it. I have to have spells. Playing a wizard in the first campaign broke me. Like not having the options of being able to manipulate the battlefield, and it's pretty much I have to play a full caster, and I've gotten to the point where I've ruled out cleric too. I absolutely do not want to play cleric. I don't enjoy it. They kind of end up doing the same thing every time. I don't enjoy buffing. I enjoy control. Yeah. I've also learned I don't want to roll damage dice. I couldn't care less about it. I just want to control the battlefield and manipulate. Basically try and break Alan's encounters the quickest way possible is what I aim for.
Literally. And you do it from and the things that you've evolved in this way, because you've always broken my encounters and you've always found ways to force cage my massive tentacle monster.
I think your most hated spell of mine was Wall of Force.
Yes. 100% broke at least 3 encounters towards the end of the campaign for sure. So oh my gosh. So yes, all Jason does is play control casters, doesn't do any damage, but just absolutely manhandles the battlefield to where I either can't do stuff or completely change it. But the way you have evolved in this campaign, in the second campaign, is you have transcended the spells breaking in the game, and you will use like role play and clever remembering of things or
That's your
items.
fault for giving me like random racial thing. You're like, oh, by the way, your race their eyes can glow and they can affect people's minds. And I'm like, okay, I'm using that.
So I would say though, for the question, and I'll throw in my answer to it. A lot of times I have my class pick everything around in general from around that. Now, if I was playing in a campaign and there's a whole 5 or something like that, then sure. But in like a one shot or something like that, I really want to wrap my head around the class and then try and explain why I'm that class. That's my first instinct of like, okay, I'm this class, but like, why am I this class? How are my powers explained, or how did I get these powers? And So
Right. Yeah, even if there is a vibe, I'm gonna make the class fit that vibe.
Yeah.
Pretty much, I'm just gonna play a wizard every campaign at this
Well,
point.
I was gonna ask you, what's your next what are you gonna play in the next campaign?
I'm probably a wizard. Because I don't like clerics, and druids are a little funky the way their concentration. They're very heavy concentration, and
Yeah.
outside of their concentration, they don't have a whole lot to do other than
Right.
shapeshift. But if you're not moon, then yeah.
That's funny. Do you have another question coming up from Josh Zeller? So get ready for that. But DJ One Eye, thank you, thank you for the $2 super chat, bro. You're crazy, bro. Mr. King with the $4 super chat. Thank you for this. I love that surprise tip. I've never seen that one before. Oh, that's funny. Thank you guys. Next question. We'll come back to Josh Zellers. I see you, Josh. Oh wait, that was the super chat. Gotcha. Have you ever bought a culture? Wait, what? Have you ever had a pop culture inspired PC in your games? Which character? A pop culture inspired PC. I know I have, yeah.
That was probably one of your high school groups, huh?
Oh, interesting. No.
Then who was?
Okay. Oh, PC.
Yeah, not NPC. Like, yeah.
Oh, no. I've never had a pop culture inspired PC.
I've not.
No. I did like I remember in the city of, oh god, what was that city? Villa is the Poison City, where they had the mob gangster. The gangster.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Yeah.
Where we jump straight to the boss fight.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That was another time where they broke everything. Literally, there's like the boss of this like mob gang in the middle of this lair, and then the paladin's like, "You're gonna stop doing what you're doing," and he's like, "What are you? Look around you, dude." And I was like, "Are they about to do this?" And he's like, "You need to stop what you're doing, mister." Like, and I was like, "Are we throwing?" And then y'all freaking threw down. And
Alan's intimidation check failed against us, the players.
Oh gosh, yeah, pretty much. But that guy was the Joker inspired. He was inspired by the Joker. So.
Oh, he was cool.
Yeah. So that's the first thing that popped in my head. But then that's not a PC. So there you go.
Right.
KJ Duel. Are you planning to convert to one D&D when it's released, adding certain homebrew, or stick to your own homebrew 5e mashup? KJ Duel. I'm going to let everyone think what I'm going to say to this. Because ultimately I have already, and somebody said this before to me, and I think it was in a comment on YouTube, basically Coach already made the expansion to Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition in Alcanar's Almanac of all things. So the fact that Wizards of the Coast is coming out with one D&D is just more cool rules that people can take and use. Cool. But I beat him to the punch with Alcanar's Almanac. So one D&D has a bunch of cool stuff. So the cool things that I like, I'm gonna do that. Like the natural 1, natural 20 thing. I already did that, so cool. I will adopt that rule, even though I've already adopted. You know what I'm saying? But the thing I do like is the feats. I do like how how they did all their background, all the background stuff.
That is cool. I like that.
I really like that, and I will probably be like, you know what? I'm going to restructure. I already do like homebrew backgrounds and all that stuff, but I think I'm gonna structure it like they do and still do my own thing with it. So heck yeah, keep on homebrewing. There you go. Y'all see it. Listen. Oh, I didn't let y'all guess fast enough. I'm sorry, Greg Stafford. I'll let y'all guess which one I made it. You already made Alcanar's Almanac. Exactly. And then I immediately answer. Next question. Admiral Rum has a question. One of the moderators has a question. Let's go. What was your favorite part about that question Artificer asked? Oh. Wait, did DC Artificer ask that question in the chat? Did DC Artificer ask that question in the chat? Cause that's top secret information. And yeah. So, and also, Jason, you're not allowed to talk about the thing that I talked to you about the thing that I did before this. Yeah. Okay, cool. So, yeah. So we're gonna skip over that question too. My team here is trying to get me to say things I'm not allowed to say yet. Basically, what I can tell you guys is,
are you under NDA?
Not with this. Nothing like
not
signed
officially,
or anything like that. But okay. It's like one of those like, don't say anything. So wait, look up at Artificer's question. Wait. Yeah. He said, "How was the D&D game tonight?" was Artificer's question. So,
what D&D games?
I don't know what you're talking about. I love to save people, and I am going to be a captain. Don't you worry. Anyway, next question. Question from Josh Zellers again. The follow-up question is, what is the quickest way that you've broken an encounter? You, Jason.
Ooh. There's a couple that come to mind. The one in the prison where I shut the door and turned an ad fight into a nothing fight.
Prison where you shut the
door? The one we just had recently where we broke out. Yeah.
Yeah, that was crazy.
And then the one in Brimclaw's lair that was supposed to be like a puzzle with the healing plants. And then I force-walled all the artillery plants so they couldn't hit us. And then I teleported behind the door and turned into a giant ape to pull the lever.
Wow. Yeah. Okay, Okay.
Oh, no, the biggest thing was the plants that were attacking us were like meant to full heal every turn, and I just chill touched them, and then we killed them. And you're like, okay, well...
Yep. So Jason just very quickly named off 3 ways that he has very quickly dismantled a combat. I agree with all of those. The one that let them in on it now is there was a prison fight where they had to get in. There was 2 highly important NPCs to 2 of the characters' backstories. One of them was part of your character's backstory, and y'all had to break in there. Y'all did so good at getting into the thing. Like they worked their way from the outside. They approached, entered, got to this very center eye of the storm with literally like 3 natural 20s. It was brilliant thoughts, role play, puzzle making, choices, all this stuff. It was awesome to just watch it happen. And they get to the center, and then they get double natural 1s at the very last moment to open a door with this NPC.
He had advantage on a sneak attack and rolled double nat 1.
Yeah. And with advantage rolled double natural 1s, which I'm going to take the double natural 1s and just run with that as well. So of course combat broke out. And with this fight, it was going to be this whole thing where there's going to be ads coming in because they're in the middle of a prison with guards coming in every round, multiple guards coming in every round. And my plan was for this combat to lead into a point where they can't beat it. Like my entire goal, I don't think I ever told you this. My entire goal was to have this combat get just a flood, an overwhelming flood, to where they realize like, okay, we have to spend our turns getting these NPCs to a door and leaving. But instead, this guy, where is he at? This guy goes and just bunkers down. He uses like vine magic and wind magic to just absolutely bunker the whole thing down. And like spell check, turn after turn, he's spending his entire turn in action economy to just hold the thing down. Eventually gets a natural 20 with the whole thing, to where there's just like, I stopped roll. I was rolling to see if the ads would still come, and then I just stopped rolling because and that's when you break something, is when the Dungeon Master just stops rolling for stuff. Like, all right, fine. This is now just, all right, cool. And they finished off the other 4 things that started off in there. They finished those off, and then that was the end of the session. And so at the top of the next round, they had to escape. So it was kind of like a part 2. So yeah, that was definitely breaking the game. So there you go for sure. Next question from Evie. Question. 3 hags are in reincarnations of the Queen of Witches. Each hag is different creature type: Fae, Fiend, and Celestial. Celestials don't know that she's a part of their greater being, need drama. And how can they... Wait, what? How they can get the Celestial to recombine willingly. Woof! That is a doozy of a question. Each hag's a different... All right, there's 3 hags are reincarnations of the Queen of Witches. I don't think so. I think it's just they're doing it. I feel like it sounds like I'm reading it so terribly. It sounds
While
like
Coach is thinking, I'm going to ask you a question, Evie. What's your favorite evolution of Evie?
Oh no. I want They have to. They have to have that answer to that. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, you can't be named Eevee without a favorite evolution.
Right. So there's hags or reincarnations of the Queen of Witches. Each hag is a different creature type: Fae, Fiend, and Celestial. The Celestial doesn't know that she's a part of the greater being. Oh, so there's 3 witches independent from each other, and one of them doesn't know she's a part of the, like, she's actually a part of
Part
the
of the
one.
coven?
There was like 3. There's one witch that got split into reincarnated into 3 different witches. That's actually all the same witch. The Celestial one doesn't know, and the other 2 know. And then Eevee needs drama and how they can get the Celestial to recombine willingly. Ooh. First thought in my head, because this one's a doozy of a question.
Right.
First thing that pops into my head, and that will be my answer, is the Celestial, or they are weaker apart than they are together, right? That whole trope of like, separate we are not as strong, but if we can combine together, we can accomplish this thing that you need to do to be able to save this. Or like maybe the Celestial needs to accomplish something and she can't, and she's not powerful enough alone, and the other 2 are like, no, we're not going to do it unless you combine with us. And then boom, there you go.
Ooh, I got an idea. Or the other 2 could work against the Celestial, cause her to fall from like grace, essentially. And while she's at her lowest, they come to her help.
Yeah,
because they cause her to fall from the shadows, like she doesn't know it's
right.
They come to her aid when she's at the bottom of the barrel, and it's like,
nice. And maybe the Celestial like wouldn't even be able to fuse with them, and that's part of the whole plot trick, is they have to figure out a way to make the Celestial fall, like you said, to where they're able to be, like, their alignment is able to be merged with again. That's really interesting. There you go. That's a freaking good question. That was a hard question. We did it. That
was a hard one.
Ooh. Evie QT, she says Flareon.
I like it. Fire type.
Flareon, nice. Mine's the dark type. That's the coolest one. I don't know what that one's name.
What's its name?
I don't know what that one's name is. Darkion.
Umbreon. Come on.
Umbreon. I should have known that one. I feel bad for not knowing that one. And Evie says, "Whoa, those are good." Okay, cool. We did it, bro.
We did it.
High five. Oh!
That timing.
If that is not a display of why, okay, that's funny. We said high five. I even had a hesitation. I was like, can we even do a live stream? Like, can it even? And then we did it. Yep. Oh, that's funny. Okay. All right. Okay. So 9:22, and we got 2 super chats. Let's see if we can have time for another question here. So Coulter Wilson with a $20 super chat. Thank you, bro. Dang. Thank you, Coulter, coming in hot. Welcome back. It said it's been a while, but I'm back. Oh, coming in with a vengeance. Let's go. When doing world building, okay, hold up. Before I read Coulter's comment, Jason, Coulter he's a badass. If he was, I want to play in one of his games, his lore bombs and like, all right, so I have this group of vampires, but they're really not vampires. They're actually underground. Like, oh my gosh.
Like author type stuff.
Oh, literally author type stuff. I just got chills. Okay, anyway. All right, we're back to it.
This is not my wheelhouse, just by the way.
Yeah. I'm just getting you ready for this question. Whatever he's about to. When doing world building for your campaigns, quotations or parentheses, doing the mental flyby around places you love, are proud of, and want to show off, what are some places you absolutely have to include and why? Oh, okay. So, like, if you were to do like a flyby, like, like Minecraft or like some sort of simulation, you like fly around the world and like a drone or whatever, and like highlight the best parts of world building in my campaigns. I'm going to ask you this question because I don't know it. What you say? I know between the 2 campaigns, I have one location that is I'm the most proud of all my world building and campaigns. I have one answer. What would you say in playing in my campaigns that you've gone to or
what would say is my favorite, or what I'm guessing is your favorite?
No. What is your favorite that as a player playing in my world, what's been the favorite like location world building wise that you've gone to, or the most like immersive location?
I think it has to be Pandora. I just really enjoyed interacting with the NPCs there, and like the system of the angels or whatever. The angel guards and like the king, and it just being in Pandora, there was a lot to do. There's all kinds of shops, different districts. It was easily the most enjoyable city to interact with.
I mean, Pandora was my Yeah, that was what I was gonna say. So it's the same.
Yeah.
We're synced up on that.
Bruton might have been like that had we not become fugitives.
Oh,
But
right. In their current campaign, they're now wanted. So yeah.
thanks,
Um,
Clara.
but like, and Q.
Oh yeah,
I think it's mainly his fault, maybe.
that's true. Yeah,
She started the spark, but he.
yeah. He threw the gasoline on the
Yeah.
fire.
Check out Dungeon Coach Plays for the full breakdowns. Not you, Jason. You're not allowed to watch that. Anyway.
Oh sure, yeah. No, I've got it bookmarked.
Pandora in my first campaign was the mega city of all cities. It is the largest city that I've ever made. I have a map. I had a huge map that was like literally this big. If you could, there we go. I know you can't see how big. You've seen the map, Jason. It's a huge map of the entire city, and it had districts, and it had like so much stuff going on. It weaved into. It was like the main final hub before they went off to end the campaign. And it was a huge thing. Lots of factions at work going against each other. So I think, like, I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but I think I killed it with Pandora, and I killed myself making Pandora. Like, I spent so much time. I had color coded flashcards. I had individual NPC notes. I had pages and like, it was so crazy. I want to like dig that stuff up and find it again because I want to create another Pandora. But it's just I put so much work into that city. But that city had 7 angel guards, and each of them was a different cleric domain, and they each had different things they could do, and they were like the police of the city. Because the players, you guys were like 14th level at that point when y'all went there.
Yeah.
So I had
We were
to
in the
have
end
like
game.
crazy strong guards of the city to even make y'all kind of listen to them. So, yeah. Last question. Matthew Heyman, paying my late fee. Sorry, coach. I'll run some laps. Matthew Heyman with a $5 super chat. Thank you, Matthew. In honor of Matthew paying for a late super chat, a late fee for running his laps, we'll do one more question from the chat. Let me see. Wait. Oh. DC Artificer. We'll end on this one because he actually asked a question that he's not trying to troll me with. DC Artificer says, "What is your biggest challenge as a dungeon master to keep your players in the game?" So we'll both answer this one, and this will be the one we go out on, and then I'll have the end of the stream announcement and all that kind of stuff. So what are your thoughts on that?
Keep my players in the game. Honestly, it's I don't know. It's not been that much of a struggle for me because I only really have DM'd for like very close friends of mine, so it's kind of an understanding of like there's like an inherent respect there,
and a good pulse check, I think too.
Yeah, but I DM severely. I DM very different from you do. You're very much role play and like very in-depth NPCs. My brain is more like very interesting, like high mechanical combats and stuff, and I just want to get to those.
Right.
But it's not. I don't ignore the role play. It's just I don't spend hours and hours like, why does this NPC exist? Why does he own this tavern? What do his parents do? How did he do? I don't do all that. Like I'm like, he's got one little quirk, and this is maybe how his voice is, and I'll probably forget it after I do it. Right. So it's like, I try to do like interesting NPCs just on the fly, just to get them to laugh, and then maybe they'll remember them. But I'm mostly just trying to get. I keep the pace very quick as much as possible, and I'm really trying to hit like main story beats once they've picked like I guess we'll use your term, water slide. I try to hit like the main turns on the water slide, the interesting ones.
Right.
So kind of like how Brennan DMs, you'll notice he kind of like is like, okay, and then he moving on. He kind of cuts role play, whereas like Critical Role, Matt will just sit there and let them role play for an hour and a half. And I'm like, nah, one, my players aren't going to do that, and two, they would lose interest if one person was just trying to role play with every single NPC. So I try to keep it moving.
Because something I've seen, like you use the Brennan analogy, and then I'll chime in for me being a player when I've played in your games before, and like the little 1-shot, 3-shot type stuff I've done. Is the like fast forward or the like montage narrative description, and we're there, right? Instead of having it drag on, or like okay, now we have to do this step, then that step, then this step, and I've seen having like Brendan's like, okay, so in general, like you guys kind of do this will happen there, this will happen there, and then we're gonna move on through here. Just if we need to fast forward. And there's been times where I was playing with you, and I think I remember we were at a certain spot, and we found like we got to this little checkpoint where we were playing the sheep one shot where there's that sheep that hated me, and I tried. I tried to kill him.
Wild sheep chase.
We got to a certain spot, we did some stuff, and then we like fast traveled to the next location, and that just kept us.
Especially in a one shot, there's no reason to do travel.
There's a shot clock. Exactly. Yeah. So, great answer. My answer ultimately is similarly. I have only dungeon mastered for. Well, I guess that's not true.
You've done it for high school kids, which are a whole nother breed.
Yeah. I was gonna say I've only dungeon mastered for friends that I had before D&D, but then like Alex is not. We met through D&D, so like that's not so. And then we're friends after D&D, so it's easier to dungeon master for people that you know and have a good pulse check on, and ultimately, if you don't know them that well, have a conversation about things so that you do know how to keep them engaged in the game, you know. So I have multiple check-ins and conversations where even during the campaigns with my players right now that I've played with for years, I'll be like, so like, what are your thoughts on combat, social encounters, exploration? Oh, it turns out that my group overall is starting to like combat more. And at the beginning, when I first started the campaign, people were more interested in social encounters and role play, and then halfway through I did a little pulse check, and people are kind of slanted more towards combat, so I'm going to adjust as well and have more combat. So yeah, I think that's important to kind of always continuously talk with your players to know what they have, their characters' goals and all that kind of stuff. So
yeah. I don't know if this really pertains to this, but one of my players in my last session on Saturday, she was like, I'm having a hard time like role playing. She's like, I don't talk good. She said it funnily. Funnily, that's also not a word. But anyways, she said it goofy on purpose. She's like, I just don't talk good. I don't know what to say. And I'm like, because most of the time I talk in character, but I was like, you don't have to talk in character. You can role play third person. Like I would like my character to try and persuade this person for a discount by saying something along these lines. And you can go that way. And she's like, I never really thought about that. So like hopefully that gets her more into role playing, because she's the paladin and she's unfortunately the face of the group, or needs to be. But she's not wanting to talk much because she feels uncomfortable doing it in first person. So just kind of telling people like, hey, you don't have to speak as your character unless that is how you're running your table, obviously, but that needs to be established beforehand.
Right.
But yeah, you can easily role play in the third person. Also, another thing is if you notice a player kind of like drifting off or not paying attention, you can always just interact with them directly and be like, hey, so an NPC walks up and is like, blah, blah, blah. Or just draw them into it, whether they want to or not. I mean, you're all there to play a game, and if they're not going to respect your time, then why are they playing at your table?
I think for me, with the it was what you said before the check-in with the third person role play. I've done that a lot more as a dungeon master in this campaign, where I'm like, fast forward the conversations where like, all right, they let you guys know about this and that, because usually like even back in the first campaign I would talk out how the war instructions were doing. So here's what it's going to be. The troops are going here, and I would talk in character the whole time and relay of lots of information. And like now I'm like, all right, so they basically tell you guys about where the troops are, where these troops are. They're opposed against each other. They don't know about this. They do know about that. And that's kind of like what they're telling you with this whole combat thing. And then I'll jump back in the character and be like, so what do you guys think? It
speeds it up so much more. Like having to role play out every single conversation in first person. Yeah. Like it's okay. And I love Critical Role. I have nothing against Critical Role, but like they have 4 to 5 hours weekly where they have the time to do that, and they're all professional actors. A lot of us get to play once a month for maybe 3 hours. It's like, I don't have time to do all these first person conversations, right? So I just want to get moving with the story, otherwise this is going to be a 7-year campaign. And it's like, all right, let's move this along.
Yep.
So yeah, I do that a lot of time. I'm like, you guys go downstairs, you have breakfast. If you guys want to talk about anything, let me know. Otherwise, we're moving on to the next thing.
Yeah. Oh, and I have something. Okay, so I want to, and then let the players interject and stop you. For sure. So, that ends the live stream, people. Good job,
Ooh.
good job, good job. Thank you, Jason. Thank you, people. Right now we're
We can
gonna
keep going to 11, right?
Well, we'll see on the other channel. Right now, we're gonna do something we've never done before. We're gonna jump onto my third channel, the gaming channel, Dungeon Coach Gaming. If you don't know about it, if you know anything about World of Warcraft or whatever, me and Jason are gonna jump on and play some dungeons and stuff. So, Dungeons and Dragons is now shifting to Dungeons
Of Warcraft.
Dungeons of Warcraft.
Dungeons of Azeroth.
So yeah, I'm gonna link it in the chat right now, real quick, and then we'll wait. Where'd it go? Time? There it is. I'm gonna link it in the chat right now, and y'all can come over and hang out over there and see what's going on. It's not gonna be a Q&A. It's just gonna be super chill. Oh hey, there we go. Oh wait,
Q&A.
There we go. That was my spreadsheet right there.
We might answer questions.
Yeah, and then we might answer questions or
if Coach reads them out.
Yeah. If I read them out while I maybe die from reading chat and stuff, from D&D to WoW, exactly.
No, I'm not healing you.
Yeah, true. So anyway, thanks, bro, for coming in the live. You're my first
thank
guest.
you.
You're my first official guest.
I'd be willing to come back anytime.
There you go.
This was fun.
I'll take a voting poll, and they'll see if they like you or not, and then.
Oh boy. I don't need to know the results of that poll.
No, but for real, thank you guys.
Yeah, of course.
And peace, y'all. Stay creative and
think outside the box.